What's the deal with 141 pounds? Who's gone? Who's back? Who transferred? Who are the title contenders? And other big questions. Going to preview this entire weight class, starting with who's gone, who's not there anymore. Well, you lost Bo Bartlett to graduation. Bo was an NCAA finalist 2 years ago, placed very high last year, was a great foil to Jesse Mendez, beating him multiple times last year. Jesse Mendez, of course, the returning national champion. Cale Happel for UNI has graduated, as has Navy's Josh Coderhan. So losing three really tough guys at 141. But who's new? Who has entered this weight class that wasn't there a year ago? Well, the big one, probably the biggest one, is Lehigh's Luke Stanich. Now, 2 years ago, he was a 125 pounder. So he's doing the double bump up to 141. But there's a lot of reason to think he's going to have a lot of success. Now, Luke was a true freshman All-American for Lehigh at 125. He was ranked number one at different points in the season. Of course, that was true for like 80% of the 125 field, but it was also true for Luke. It was still an achievement. There was a time he looked like he was maybe the best guy, and he was right there. Placing as a true freshman, big achievement. Now he's much bigger. He's not going to be undersized. No worry about that. He just made the U20 World Team, navigating a really tough field, including beating Bo Bassett in the 2 out of 3 finals there. And so he's one of the guys I've identified as a potential title contender, one of the few guys I think could enter the title contending realm outside of the returning finalists. And we'll get to those two here soon. Ryan Jack off of redshirt for NC State. He's a guy that's been, sniffing around that top 8, top 5 at different points in his career. After a redshirt, is he ready to take that step forward? We'll see. But I think he's going to be, at minimum, an All-American contender for the Wolfpack at 141. Then I have Nasir Bailey, question mark. Nasir transferred from Little Rock to Iowa. And is he going to go 41? I never looked at him as a guy that was undersized or overly big at 133, but you never know how guys' cuts are and how they, more importantly, can build up their bodies to the next weight class. He looks to be the guy, in my opinion, at 141 for Iowa. I think he's their best option. And so we'll just see who they go with. If he goes, I think he's going to absolutely be a difference maker at 141. He is the only transfer in the field, essentially, other than Tyler Wells, if he goes up to 141. So not a ton of transfers impacting this weight. Who's back? Okay. Well, you got the big two. Jesse Mendez and Brock Hardy. That's the NCAA final from a year ago. Both those guys are back. Both of them took losses along the way last year. Jesse Mendez fell to both Brock Hardy and Bo Bartlett. I think that's an extensive list of his losses. But so he took some losses last year, as did Brock Hardy. They're both back. Jesse Mendez trying to have his close out his career as a 3-time national champion. Probably going to try to have his first undefeated season this year. But when the lights are on, he's a gamer. He's been able to win the last 2 seasons. CJ Composto for Penn. He had an amazing tournament. He definitely flew under the radar a lot of the season. Turned it on, had a great tournament for the Penn Quakers, and excited to see what he can do next year. Jacob Frost, the lone All-American for a very talented Iowa State squad last year. He's back, beat a lot of great guys, including, I believe, Andrew Alirez last year. And so now how does he do this year? I think he could take a step forward. One of the hardest workers on that Iowa State team. And then you've got Vance Vombar from Minnesota. This guy's an absolute grinder, goes really hard. Gave Jesse Mendez fits. I believe he beat Bo Bartlett last year. So be on the lookout for Vance Vombar to have a big year. So a lot of talent is returning. The big questions. I have a big questions section here. And the first big one is, what does Penn State do? Bo Bartlett is gone. How do you backfill that? Well, they got a couple options. All of them good. They're all good options. So you could bump up Braden Davis, as it sounds like Marcus Blaze is all assuming Marcus is a 133 pounder. If he says, hey, I'm a 141 pounder, then that's probably our answer. It'll be Marcus. But we think he's down at 33 for right now. So you got Braden Davis could go up. You've got Aaron Nagao, who was out last year with injury, but he could be there. Really tough mat wrestler, good scrambler. Is he ready to earn that starting spot? We'll see. Or, wild card, do they wrestle Masanosuke Ono, the world champion from Japan, who is announced last year after NCAAs he was going to Penn State. Could that be the guy that they end up going with at 141 pounds? We will see. So big question there. A lot of solid options for Penn State, but we don't know necessarily what they're going to do. What does Oklahoma State do? They have Tegan Jamison returning, but we all know it's a big cut for Tegan Jamison. Can he hold down that weight class another year? Could we see someone like Cale Hughes, who was having a hard time holding 133 for Oklahoma State? Could he go up at 141 and challenge Tegan? And could you also see someone like Sergio Vega enter the fray? He'll be a true freshman next year for Oklahoma State. But Coach Taylor has shown they're going to wrestle their best lineup. They're going to put the best team on the mat basically every time they can. So if Sergio winds up being the guy, if he's a 141, maybe we could see him. We're ranking Tegan Jamison for the time being, but definitely a situation you want to wait and see, because whoever they put on the mat, you would have to assume is going to do a good job for Oklahoma State. So those are the two big questions. And then who are the title contenders at this weight class? I'm saying there's three. I'm saying Jesse Mendez, I'm saying Brock Hardy, and then outside shot, really I feel like there's probably two, but I'll throw Luke Stanich in there. But it's worth mentioning that he wrestled Jesse Mendez a year ago, and it was not particularly close. I think Brock and Jesse are the class of this weight class. I don't think there's, unless Marcus or Ono wrestle at this weight class, I don't see another title contender emerging here. So very fun weight class. Going to be interesting to see as new names emerge. I feel like it happens every year, and it's easy to sit here in July and say, okay, it'll probably be this group or that group. This person will step up, but there's always surprises, and that's what makes it so exciting. So that's my thoughts on 141. Give me your thoughts. Who do you think the title contenders are? Who are the names that are going to stand out and potentially shake up 141 pounds?